Well, hello, Amber.
Oh, this is scary.
Is it scary?
It is.
Well, don't be scared. Just be absolutely terrified. You, in context to everything, you're my little sister.
I'm your little sister-in-law.
My little sister-in-law.
In-law.
I like it to throw in the in-law. But you are my wife's little sister.
Yes.
And in season 1 of the Canton Parker podcast, I thought to myself, I want friends and family to come and have genuine, real, raw conversation. And I could think of no one else to join me than you. Why, you might be wondering.
Amber rates herself.
Amber rates herself, the queen bee.
Yes.
Yes, queen. But I wanted to bring you on not only because I think you're cool. And I think you have a cool vibe to you, but I also think you're one of the few individuals without you really realizing it. And maybe I don't tell you enough, but I find you super creative.
Wow.
I find you very opinionated, which is not a bad thing. I think a lot of people think having an opinion is a bad thing. It's actually a very good thing. Strong opinion.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just think you're a cool chick.
Oh, that means a lot to me.
I
Thank
hope so.
you. Well,
Yeah,
I'm glad to be here.
We can end the podcast now. It's fine.
Done.
But I wanted to ask something. Okay, so you met me when you were 5 years old.
Yes.
What do you remember of that day besides nothing?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay, so
I do remember we were in a mall though.
Yes. Do you remember what mall?
Was it Greenstone? No.
It was Northgate.
Yeah, something.
And not a lot of people know this, but Shannon's sitting right there. You can't see her. And Amber's boyfriend, Chris, is sitting right there, but you won't be able to see them. So, anyway, so it was at Northgate, and myself and Shannon, I think we're on a first date.
Yes.
Yeah, with a whole bunch of Shannon's friends and I think my friends. And obviously, we were in high school. I think I was 17, Shannon was 15, high school sweethearts. And the typical, my parents going to come fetch me, like, it's home time, mom, dad, whatever. And then that's when I met Shannon's mom, your mom, for the first time.
Coolest mom ever.
Coolest mom. Shout out, Jojo.
Mom ever. Love of my life.
So I remember meeting them and going, hello. And then this little girl who probably measured all of 1 meter tall ran up to me and just hugged me and went, hi, I'm Amber. And I was like, get away from me. No, I didn't say that. But yeah, I just found you to be the most energetic, welcoming, loving little girl, which you still are, and believing the best of everyone, even if you're meeting them for the very first time.
Yeah.
So now all that to say, I've been with your sister for 13 years, married for 5.
Yeah, that's a lot, eh?
Pray for me. No, I'm joking. I love your sister. She's the best. But now, over the years that you've experienced me, what has been key pivotal moments in our relationship? Because we're very similar.
Yes.
Both very creative.
Yes.
Both very opinionated.
Very
full of shit.
Yeah.
You can agree with that.
Yes.
But we also, and I'm going to speak on behalf of you and me, we believe the best in people. And I think we kind of always find the silver lining and the gold. What has been a pivotal moment for you in our relationship that you can at least remember?
Like a time in our...
Yeah, anything. Like even if it's a core memory.
Well, what I do know is we get along very well. We're very funny together.
We like gaming.
However, when we don't get along, I think we don't get along at all. I think we butt heads very hard.
Why do you think that is?
Because I've experienced it. If you have an opinion on a specific topic and I have an opinion, then we butt heads quite a lot.
Why do I feel like you want to say Mortal Kombat 1?
I think that's fun, conflict.
I see what you're saying. And why do you feel like, maybe you and me, but outside of you and me, just in general, why people that are very strong in their opinions tend to disagree, not disagree, but butt heads?
I think when you have a strong idea on something that you set on and you believe in your mind that is true, and when someone goes against it, you get offended easily.
Do you feel like having someone disagree with you in the context of a conversation is if they disagree with you in the context of being a person?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is weird, but...
Do you feel like it's very much a generational thing? Because I'm now 30... You're now 19.
Yeah.
I met you when you were 5. I was 17.
Yeah.
Now, so many years, you've seen the ups and downs of life. I remember once upon a time, I think you were still in primary school. You were like, yeah, I'm going to do this and earn money. And we were like, is it?
Yeah, I wanted to get a BMW and everyone laughed at me. And I was like...
Please tell me that story.
I was still in primary school. No, wait. I think grade 8, first year of high school. And I didn't really understand what having a job was, what earning money entailed. So I was like, my first car is going to be a BMW.
But what BMW?
The Series 1 Series. I really liked the 1 Series. I didn't understand how expensive they were, and I wanted to get a brand new one. Didn't want a secondhand. Was going to buy this first Series 1 BMW. Then occasionally I had realized wasn't going to happen. I told my family that I wanted this car. Thought it was a big fat joke. And I don't have that car. So big news flash to how the world actually works. Can't get a BMW as my first car. But fortunately, some people are born into that, what would you say, generational wealth. But
I get that. I think when you're a kid, dreams are like at the forefront of like everything.
Yeah.
And the best part about dreaming is that it's free.
Yep.
Like you wanting a BMW, why not?
Doesn't cost anything.
Doesn't cost anything.
Makes you feel joyful.
The tires, the services, the petrol,
you don't think of any of the backlash.
Because as a kid, life is taken care of to some degree, and then in your part, you have to show up in other areas. Yeah. School, do well. Don't be a horrible human being, and you're still learning and finding yourself in the world. I mean, you don't arrive and you go,
exactly.
This is me. Hello, everybody. I mean, your friends change, your thinking change, your personality changes, your interests change, your hobbies change. And the saddest part about it at the time is it feels like your world's falling apart. The most amazing part about it is that without realizing it, it actually shapes you to be a whole lot more deeper in your thinking, more richer in your conversation, so that ultimately the more and more you progress in life, then at least you know how to handle things a whole lot better.
Building maturity.
100%. Maturity is the key word. What was the turning point, and just using the BMW as an example, when you realized, this is not really achievable.
Yes.
And this is quite a rude awakening right now.
What was my turning point with that?
Like what? Because I know for a fact it wasn't a conversation. And I'm saying this because I know it's true for me. Yes. And if we're very similar, I know this is at least how I process things. I know it wasn't a conversation. I know it wasn't a book. It was you with your 4 walls in dead silence going, right, I need to fix the way I think. So I know that true for me at least.
Yeah.
And I at least would only imagine and assume there's an avenue and a string of that which might be similar for you.
Yeah, the day that it hit me, I think, was the day I got my first salary. And I realized how quickly your money goes. I got paid and you don't realize 2 days later that you're like, oh, crap. Where is my money? So I think that was my newsflash, was how much more difficult it was to actually keep that money in your accounts. Even savings, I suck at saving money. So that was the biggest, whoa.
The difficult part for you is both of your parents are in banking.
Yes.
Your freaking family was in banking. And you're in the one position where saving, be savvy with your money. Hey, open up this account, think like this. You know what I mean? All of that. And that was always encouraged, but never forced. Like, hey, Amber, think like this. Hey, Amber, do this.
Yeah.
And when you're young, you're like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, I'll save. It's easy.
You know what I mean? Until it's like, oh, damn. Like, okay, I'm 19.
Yeah.
What do I look like when I'm 29? What do I look like when I'm 39? What do I look like when I'm 89?
Yeah.
We don't think like that. And I think a little bit of my generation, but maybe a little bit more of your generation is very instant. Like, I want it now.
Yes, you don't think properly through your decisions and your choices.
But now you just said something. You don't think properly through your decisions
and your choices.
You didn't always think like that.
No.
And the only reason why I'm saying is when you're in high school, you think you run the world. You think the world's yours. When you leave high school, you realize that exact same world is currently falling apart and you have absolutely no freaking clue what to do. But I must say, you've handled it very well because it's not this person or this person. It's everyone.
Yeah, I'm trying my best.
I'm just trying to survive, please.
It is a lot more difficult than I had thought that it would be.
Yeah.
The one thing is that I have Mondays and Fridays off.
Oh, that's nice.
So I can drive past my high school and be like, hey. But on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, where I have to wake up at like 5 and I come home at 6, it's like, yo.
Because as a girl, it's not just like, I think guys are very different. Guys are like, I can wake up, whether you shower the night before, you shower the morning of, cool, put on a hat, do whatever, put on a jacket, and you're like, right, let's go. Girls, a little bit different,
Yeah, it's shower when you wake up.
There's makeup, there's hair, you got to do your outfit. Do I like this outfit? I don't like that outfit.
Let me change again.
So there's a whole lot more to the whole bigger picture of things. So it's not just, I start work at 8.
Yeah.
No, I get up at 5 and then I go to this and then I go to that. So you've already had like 2.5 hours of stuff before your day starts. And then it's 8 to 5. And I'm sure you can agree, it sucks.
Yes. And as you know, as I have my job on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, entailing I still have uni on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So my Tuesday class runs from 6 to 8, and my Wednesday classes runs from 6 to 10. So even longer days.
Those are long ass days and a lot of thoughts and no naps.
Can't have a nap. Can't even eat dinner. I have to get home, shower, do my class.
That's miserable.
Yeah.
I can see why you need a lot of counseling and hugs and maybe a GoFundMe page.
Yeah, maybe.
But when you look back at now, because it's only been what, like a year and a half, a year?
That I've been working.
Well, that you've been out of high school.
No, it's been 7 months.
Okay.
No, 8 months.
When you look back to being in school, do you feel like it was easier?
No.
What?
I wasn't a person that enjoyed high school.
Sorry, let me rephrase the question.
Yeah.
Do you feel like just being in school was easier than just...
I did. There was more routine at school.
Okay.
Like, when you go to school and, when you end and you have a set uniform, you can't wear makeup, so you just wash your face and you go. So there was more routine. Now it's like you have to choose your outfits and you have to pack your bags and you don't know what time you end work. So you're like, but yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, there's all the bills.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there's a part of school that you miss?
I wasn't a fat fan of high school. Maybe like the days where like you didn't have lessons and you could just laugh with your friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you've kind of given me a thoughts on something here. Friends in high school. You've already gone, But if I asked you this 2 years ago, you would have been like, and actually funny enough, I did ask you this 2 years ago. And I said, Ams, your friends are going to change. And like, that's okay. It's all right to change your circle because your circle will ultimately be the destination eventually at some point in your journey that's going to be a make or break. So it's kind of like, show me your 5 friends and I'll show you where you'll be in 5 years. It's a cute phrase that people use, but it's the truth. And everyone's circle is always going to change, from where you work to the lifestyle that you choose, to the hobbies that you choose, to the things that you entertain, to the things that you watch. Like, there's so much to do with you as an individual that's either influenced by your friends or that you influence people that eventually become your friends. But when you look back at high school, your friends have changed.
So from grade 8, in grade 8 I didn't have good friends. I didn't have good morals. So from grade 9 I cut those friends off. I told myself, so they don't align with where I'm going with life. And they really aren't. Like, if I look at them today, it's like I can't even speak. I'm so like distraught by how they've turned out. It's just, I feel like I'm a lot more mature than the people that were in my high school, and especially after just coming out of high school and going straight into uni and working, and then you look at your friends that you had back when you were in matric and they're like not even trying to do anything. They're not studying, and it's just like they don't even care. They're just like, yeah, chill.
Do you feel like that's their way of, well, maybe it sounds a bit harsh the way I'm saying it, but to some degree that's them falling behind now? Because you fall behind in school in some avenues, but if you're not willing to take the next step outside of school and get your life in line or whatever in a certain direction, you actually do end up falling behind. For example, you're 19, you are very mature. And I remember when I was 19, even now 30, I look at a lot of people when I was 19 and they were 19 and now I'm 30 and they 30, and I look at them and I'm like, what went wrong?
Yeah.
Like, where are you? Like, what are you doing? And sometimes it breaks my heart because they were like so golden in high school.
Yeah.
And I was like, it wasn't even that hard. You just had to step out your little bubble and do something with your life. And for me, it's grateful to have a little sister that's like, cool, she switched on. Like, she knows, like, hey, like, I'm not going to get my BMW unless I graft and I work. And, you know, it will be long days and late nights and everything. But eventually, a year from now, you're going to be a totally different person. 5 years from now, you're going to be a completely different person. 10 years from now, I don't even think you'll be able to recognize yourself now. You know what I mean? But you have to keep going through that journey. And do you feel like now, and maybe it's a bit of a touchy subject, but do you feel like your friend circle is smaller?
I do. It's harder to find friends that have the same values and morals as me. That's the only thing. Because I have small friends. I'm not like my best friends or my closest friends. I have friends, but they don't align with me. So I'll see them once in a while, but I won't make a priority to see them. Because I know that because you are who you associate yourself with. So if I'm associating myself with these people that aren't studying, that aren't working, I'm going to turn into that person. I'm going to become that lazy person that I despise. So
that's very good. Like, even that is golden wisdom that I would just wish someone grabbed me when I was younger and said, hey, just like check yourself. And thankfully, I grew up in a family where I'm the youngest and I have 5 older siblings. So I was forced to grow up.
Yeah.
But my friends, I would look at them and like, this guy's like, hey, let's, like, now I think we're like 19, 20, and this guy's like, oh, hey, let's go to News Cafe, let's go clubbing. And I'm like, bruh, I'm so tired from the photo shoots I've done the whole day. Like, you go clubbing with mommy and daddy's money. I'm going to get paid from this photo shoot. And I'm actually going to go buy myself some sneakers.
Yeah.
And what's so cool is then I'd wear my sneakers and then these friends will be like, oh, where'd you get those sneakers?
Where did you get the money for those sneakers?
You know what I mean? And it's like, bruh, like I worked.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard work, but I get the quote unquote the spoils of my labor, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
And you're learning that. You're learning like, oh, you want that clothing order or whatever, then at least you can be like, hey, I can afford it. And what's so cool is that you have family, I'm not going to so much say friends here, but you have family that have always been rooting for you. You have family that have always been cheering you on. I can even tell you behind closed doors, when you are not even in the room, how everyone's like, watch Amber, watch what she's going to do. And you don't even realize it. You're still trying to figure out your left ear from your right ear because you're like, I don't know what's happening in life. But you hold it together. You get it together, sweetie.
Yes.
And you're like, you know what? Okay, let's take one foot in front of the other.
Yeah, it's nice to have that support from my family, and also especially Cristiano. I think he's been a big...
That's the boyfriend, in case you were wondering.
In my life.
Shout out Cristiano Ronaldo, number 7. He's not Ronaldo, relax.
Yeah. So he's been a real big blessing in my life. Because it's always like when you have like a hard day, it's always like, oh, I can phone Cristiano. Oh, if I like really need to like have a cuddle, I can just phone Cristiano. And like he'll always be there for me, which is...
That's the thing. When I was still dating Shannon, I remember I had so many friends that were like, oh, dude, you don't make time for me. And oh, dude, like, you know, it's all Shannon this and Shannon that. And I eventually said, I'll never forget this. I would call a meeting. It felt like a meeting. Like this one guy was like, bro, can we chat? And I was like, yeah, sure. And we sat at a table and it was like, hey, bro, like I just wanted to talk to you. This is a true story. And he was just like, yo, hey, dude, like I feel like you and Shannon are spending way too much time together. And I looked at him and I said, respectfully, my guy, if your life goes in this direction and my life goes in this direction, I would much rather cling to the person that I confide in as someone I want to spend the rest of my life with than someone I just see on weekends.
Yes.
So like, thank you for your concern, but it's very misplaced.
Yeah.
And yeah, sure, that conversation eventually kind of drifted our friendship. But now like myself and your sister, she's my best friend.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
she's the person.
That's also what needs to be in a relationship.
100%.
They need to be your best friend.
Absolutely. You need to like I always say this to people, is Shannon is first and foremost my best friend.
Yeah.
And then she's my wife.
Yes.
Because my wife, sure, there's responsibilities. I have some things to do. She has some things to do. Together we have things to do. We've got bills to pay. We have a dog to take care of. Shout out, Og, we love you. But it's like, there's stuff to do. But as a best friend, it's like, hey, Shannon, come watch this video.
Yeah.
Hey, Shannon, check this. And then she'll be like, oh, babe, look at this quickly. And then she's sending me all these things. And it's like the first person I think about wanting to share a story with is not my mate.
No.
It's my wife.
Yeah.
Because she's first my best friend. So it's very important to, and it's very rare, especially today, it's very rare to have someone that is your best friend that you just happen to make out with.
Yes. No, I agree. I think when your partner is your best friend, it's like you're the first person you want to tell bad news to, the first person you want to tell good news to. It's just the person that you can go to for anything and everything.
Yeah, very true. And then now with having, relationships from, you've got your boyfriend, you've got work, you've got studies, you've got just like life, just to even kind of spin it, we go to family dinners, there's that. Then there's also still seeing friends, because not to discount the actual the friends that you do have.
Yeah.
But then there's also time for yourself.
Yeah.
I think the thing every generation misses and gets horribly wrong is thinking they always need to show up. And there's a good mindset behind it where it's like, hey, you got to show up, you got to, you always got to like be there, and I'm going to be at the function, I'm going to be at my friends. Sometimes it's just super great to have a day, or what we would call a nothing day. And there's so much blessing in boredom.
Yeah.
In just saying, I don't want to do anything today. And maybe if we're very similar, at least it's true for myself. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong here for you, but I love just sometimes doing nothing.
Yeah.
I want to come home. I want to play games.
Yeah.
I want to maybe put on a movie or a series or whatever. Or I just want to chill.
Yeah.
Like, hey, do you want to go out? No, I don't actually.
Yeah.
But maybe no, I don't actually.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with me is as soon as I get that free time, apart from like work or uni, it's I need to go to gym.
Gym?
Yeah. My brain is always like, you need to go to gym. Okay. And if I'm not going to gym, then it's like, you need to have a nap.
Okay.
And it's like, it's just you're trying to juggle everything at the same time. So it's either you need to sleep or you need to work on your body. But then when you do get a free day, you appreciate it so much.
And why do you think you should appreciate it so much?
Because when I don't have my free days, I'm nonstop. Like your battery goes so quickly. And then when you do have a free day, it's like you can breathe, you can relax, you can just take the day.
There was a cool
and not worry.
Yeah, there was a cool story that I don't know where it's from. So someone's going to listen to this and be like, "Oh, bro, you butchered that so badly." And yes, I'm butchering it, but there was a story that I heard. It's either from a book or somewhere. But long story short, it's this lumberjack, a dude who cuts wood. That guy, the woodcutter guy, and he has an axe.
Woodchuck.
That guy, and he's got a flannel shirt, a hat, a beard. That guy.
Yes.
And every day he goes out into the forest and he's chopping these
how much wood does a woodchuck? Yeah, chucking.
That guy, the Mensa with the wood and the hammer,
yes,
or the axe, whatever that one.
Yeah.
So he's cutting these trees down, and every day he says, "Cool, I can from early in the morning to like late afternoon, I can cut down 30 trees." And someone asked him, "Only 30?" And then he says, "Yo, wow, how much can you cut?" And then the guy says, "Oh, I can cut down 60." And he says, "No way." He says, how do you do that? Like, there's only so much time in a day that you can cut wood. And then the guy says, "Oh, so like, how do you cut your wood?" He says, "I wake up. I'm just going to throw numbers. I wake up at 7. I do my thing. And at 8, I start chopping. And from 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I just nonstop. I keep chopping."
That's hectic.
And then the other guy goes, "Oh, I get you." He says, "What I do is I start also at 7, but I stop for 1 hour."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, to take a break." He goes, "No, to sharpen my axe."
Wow.
And the whole thing is sometimes you do need to stop, and sometimes you do need to chill, and sometimes you do need to break away from everything, not because you need to chill necessarily, but because you need to sharpen your axe.
Yeah.
Because you can be so much more productive, so much more efficient,
yes,
so much more
smarter, not harder.
Exactly. And we've heard that quote our entire lives. But what does that mean? And for me, I've at least tried to implement like not systems, but like, what can I do from a content perspective? Like, okay, what lights do I set up? Okay, how do I do this when I edit? How do I take a 2-hour editing time to 1 hour? Because then if 2 hours is going to take me one video and it's now going to be 1 hour, I can do 2 videos in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, what can I do to make it a half an hour? And I can do 4 videos. And then it's like, okay, cool. How do I do this? And it's becoming so much more efficient by working smarter and not harder.
Yeah.
And I've at least noticed that. Now, with all that to say, you're still figuring out the working smart aspect. Because, yeah, sure, some people can inspire you, they can talk to you, they can have conversation, you can see things online, but ultimately, I know you're the type of person that you flourish and thrive off first-hand wisdom. You get the 3 hands of wisdom. First hand is directly, second hand is through a friend, third hand is, oh, I heard that someone fill in the blank.
Through.
And you're the type of person that I know you learn the most through first-hand wisdom. And what are some of the smart working / hard working ideas or systems that you're at least having in your life right now?
If I'm being honest, I actually have no clue whatsoever.
You know, it's so funny. I kind of had a feeling you'd say that.
Yeah, at work, the thing is I will get a portion of work to work on throughout the day. And once I'm finished with it, I'm like, okay, give me more.
That's good.
And then as soon as I finish that, then I see my coworkers like flowing. Oh, what's the word? Falling behind. So then I would want to do his work. So I ask him, can I help you with something? Cool. Finish his side. And I don't know if it's because but what would it be? I just want to achieve.
Yeah, like it's not that you're trying to show off, but it's like, hey, like, come, let's...
Yes, I want to get things done so that at the end of the day, it's done. Like, I don't have to come to work tomorrow and be like, oh, I still have to do this. But that's working harder. I don't think that's working smarter.
Let me maybe then spin the question. Why do you think working hard is so valuable? Because let me put it this way. I don't think it should ever come easy. I don't think you should wake up in the morning and be like, today's going to be great. Yeah, it's going to be hard. And you are going to maybe put in the hours, put in the effort, whatever it is. I do think there's such value in working hard.
You'll get so much recognition from people that actually notice how much work you're doing. And that'll lead to like bonus or like an increase in position. Oh, increase in position. Or you get a lot of advantages from people that do recognize that you've done the hard work.
Okay. And now to maybe pivot the conversation, with all that to say, the world that we live in is very, right now at least, all over the place.
Yeah.
And I at least know from every, if I could say, generation, there's always been like, what the hell is happening? And then like when we get to a turning point, we look back and we're like, oh, it was so much easier then. But then I can guarantee you when it was then,
it didn't seem as easy.
As easy. And then at that time, you know, like let's say Granny and Papa, they would look back and be like, it was so much easier then. But I can guarantee you their parents would be like, oh, this is so hard. So I'm preempting it by saying life is hard and it's complicated and it's confusing, period.
Yeah.
However, all that to say, the world that we now live in, what are some of the biggest challenges that you feel like are necessary and some that you feel like are like, guys, calm down? Because you're still young. Challenges meaning like, you know, just open TikTok and just look at what's happening in the world. And you're like, what the hell is going on? But the reason why I say that is because tomorrow will look very different.
Yeah.
Next week will look very different. A year from now will look very different. Much as last year looked very different.
Yeah.
So with all that to say, you know, you learned through just the climate of the world, things change. And change is a good thing. However, through that witnessing of change, it kind of changes you because you're like, whoa, what is happening over here? Because like I've got an opinion because when I was 19, the world was a certain way. And I was like, sure, okay. And as I was growing up, I was like, that's changing. This is changing. Now you are noticing those changes. But it's so fresh for you, you don't really have a comparison to it. So 10 years from now, I might say, hey, Ams, how's the world changed? And you'll be like, right, let's sit down and have a chat.
Yeah.
But right now, what are some of the things that you feel like, hey, I feel like we need to get better at this? And hey, I feel like this. Yeah, like no.
Yeah, I think technology these days are going like they're advancing constantly. And I think my generation, the first thing you do in the morning is you wake up and like TikTok.
Yeah.
And you just go on your phone straight away, which is actually a very bad habit, because in studies show that it's actually very bad for your brain to be on your phone like right before bed, or like right as you wake up in the morning. But it's also a very bad habit to break, because you grew up like as a little child, like you were like, oh, I want this phone, and you get the phone and you're like, I'm going to use this phone as much as possible. Then it turns into a little bit of an addiction. Like, I'm not going to lie, I'm very addicted to TikTok. That's something I do need to work on, though.
I don't even think that's an age thing. I think that's a mindset thing.
Yeah.
Because I find myself waking up in the morning and wanting, what's going on?
Yeah.
What did I miss? What's happening? And sometimes, you know what the beautiful thing is? It doesn't matter if you know or if you don't know.
Yeah.
Because the sun is still going to move.
Yeah.
The earth is still going to spin. The wind is still going to blow.
Yeah, reversing back to what you had said with generations and how they would be like, oh, it was so much more difficult when we were here. What I think is going to happen is, if I have children, the COVID-19 is going to be brought up, and if they don't want to like eat or go anywhere, I'm going to be like, in 2020, I couldn't leave my house and I was deadly sick. And I think it would be such a good like experience. Like, when our parents would give us something to speak on, if like, oh, Mom, I don't want to go to school, and then be like, I had to cycle to school at 4 a.m. and get home and pluck the chickens. I know my stepdad used to do that. He used to pluck the chickens. So to look back on COVID and to bring it up back when I have children, I think will actually be...
I'm so glad you said that, because that right there is the mindset of nothing is ever certain.
Yeah.
And everything's always going to change. And I can say that, and you'll agree with this, now you will. But if I had this conversation with you 5 years from now, 5 years ago, let me put it that way, 5 years into the past, you would have very easily gone, it's not that bad, relax. And it's like, right, okay.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is 5 years from now, you're going to go, right, some things have hurt.
Yeah.
Some things didn't go my way. I was confused by a lot of things, but hey, this went really well. And hey, man, I remember that when that happened to me in my life, or whether it be with relationships or in a career or just personally, like you said, you love gym. Maybe you get to, whether it be a figure or whatever it is, like you know your goal, you know your dream.
Yeah.
And when you get there, you can at least look back as a reference point and go, the past is not a place of residence, it's a place of reference. And that reference can help you completely catapult yourself into the next year or the year after, and kind of go, right, what do I need to do now?
Yeah, I think in the past few years, I've taken life very seriously. And like this year, I've actually realized and had like an awakening, like life is not that serious. Like going through everything that I have been through, I would take everything as so hard, and I'd be like, oh, I wasn't good enough for school, or like, oh, I didn't have enough money to buy this bag. Like, oh, but now I'm like, life's really not that serious. Like, you can just be the best person you can be. And if you're not good enough for some people, you're not going to be good enough for some people. It's just how life is.
Yeah, it's life, yeah.
And I'm actually really enjoying living with life's not that serious, not that deep, because when you do things, it's like, oh, like I didn't push myself hard enough today, and it's like, it's okay, life's not that deep, maybe we'll try again tomorrow. And I'm really enjoying living with that motto. It's released a lot of stress, because I push very hard when I do things. Like at gym, I get very upset with myself if I don't do this many reps, or at work, if I don't do this much, I get very disappointed in myself. But recently I've just been like, not that deep. Like, I'll be okay. Everyone will be okay. Try again tomorrow. And I think it's a good mindset to have.
I must say, just listening to that, I can say that I'm very proud of you, because that is one of the, if not the biggest successful mindsets to have. Because the ultimate goal there is, I'm not in control. As much as I want to be, and as much as I want to make it happen, I need to kind of sit back and go, you know what? I wanted to do 100 things today. And you know what? I only really got to do 50.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what the beautiful thing about that is? You set a goal for 100. You only managed to do 50. So mentally, you might say to yourself, oh, I only did 50%.
Yeah.
Where really, you actually gave 100. Because you were only supposed to do 50 that day.
Yeah.
Because that day came with whatever that day came with. And the next day, maybe you did 75. and the day after, maybe did 30.
Yeah.
And exactly what you said.
Life is not that serious.
It's not that serious. Because you know the beautiful thing is, when you look back, you're going to go, was I stressing about that?
Yeah, when you push yourself too hard, you're going to make yourself sick.
Exactly.
You're going to give yourself more issues that you didn't have to deal with. And that's just caused by stress and overthinking, especially with me, with my anxiety, but my anxiety has been better if I have a cup of coffee or a Red Bull and I'm like, but I've been good recently because of me thinking life's not that serious. Like, oh, my friend, this person doesn't want to be my friend anymore. No problem. Doesn't matter. Life's not that serious. The world is still spinning. I'm still the same person.
That's very good. It keeps you so anchored in who you are.
Yes, exactly.
And not who the world's trying to tell you to be.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your generation are very stressed and anxious?
Not really. I think my generation is a little bit lost. Like, I don't think they know what they're doing. Like, coming back to like the loyalty and commitment to one singular person, it's very rare. It's like 1 out of 5 people will want that loyalty and commitment, and the rest will just want all the flavors, chocolate, vanilla, caramel at the same time. And it's,
I want all the ice cream scoops.
I don't think they understand what loyalty and true commitment is. I'm not saying I'm saying the ones that want all the flavors of ice cream, that don't understand what needs to happen. Like, you can't be with so many people all the time, and you're gonna attract diseases. You're gonna create a reputation over your name and yourself. That's not gonna be.
I can actually jump on that and say, at least when I was your age, there was an element of. Let me say, there's always been that, like always. But I do, however, with that said, I do feel like your generation is a little bit more like all over the place.
They always want the next best thing.
100%. And I feel like not all the time, but a lot of your generation cannot think past their nose, because everything is, what am I feeling now? What do I feel like right now? How like, oh, let's try this, let's try that, maybe this, maybe that. And that's in relationships. I mean, that's in work, like jumping from job to job to job. Oh, my boss told me that I was late for work. I need to resign. It's like, oh, relax. It's not that deep.
Yeah.
And because there's no sense, and maybe actually just thinking about it now, it's because everything is very much a victim mentality.
Yes, exactly.
And I'm so glad,
it's also choose me, love me.
100%. And I'm so glad you replied in that way, because I feel like you would be one of the best people to chat on this. But I've often now, not all the time, but lately, I just can't stand people with the victim mentality. I just can't. It actually irritates the life out of me when I'm like, hey, I don't want to give examples because people know I'm talking about them.
Yeah, let's just dog.
The dog. Yeah. But like, let's say I'm chatting to someone and they're telling me about their thing, and I'm like, oh, hey, maybe you should do this. Not all the time, but sometimes they'll say, oh, are you telling me that? And then fill in the blank. And they're like going and they're telling me like almost like trying to tell me what my angle and my motivation and my
gaslighting.
And I'll look at them and like, I've said it to a few people where I've gone, don't play victim.
Yeah.
And they look at me and now they're like, what did you just say to me?
Yeah, they get a little...
I'm like, don't play victim. I was like, it's not about you. Yeah. Sure, it's with you.
Yes.
But it's not about you.
Yeah, I've known a few people that they'll always turn a story back onto them. Like, you'll tell them one of your achievements. You're like, I got a job and like I'm going to earn a salary. And they'll be like, yeah, well, I also got a job and my salary is like double yours. And
wow.
And it's like, what? Okay.
You see, like...
See you never.
These type of conversations are so gold because... these type of conversations aren't had often. And I guess from a public platform, if you want to call it. But from having a victim mentality, why do you feel like people, and it sounds a bit harsh the way I say it, but why do you feel like people need to be called out on their victim mentality more?
I think they grow
in a loving and kind way, that is. Like, I don't want to be like, dude, you're an idiot. Like, rather be like, hey, bro, like, listen, yeah.
I think it's the way people have been brought up. They develop very narcissistic behaviors. Narcissistic referring to me, my way, all about me, shut up, me. And I think that's how most of my generation was raised, like spoon, plate, food right in front of your face, and you didn't have to work, you didn't have to cook for any of it. And I think that they still want that. They don't want to work for anything else. And then when something bad does end up happening, they're like, but me, what about me? And it's like, and if something does happen good, what my English? And if something good tends to happen, then they want to be the upper hand on you.
Like always one-upping someone.
Yes, exactly. And I don't know if there's a way to even be kind about that.
Sure. You just call them an idiot to their face.
You just need to be like, I think you need to self-reflect a little bit. And you just...
That's like the nicest way of telling someone they're a loser. I think you need to self-reflect.
Yeah, just self-reflect. Take some time. Because I don't think people are liking who you are at the moment because of the way you are portraying yourself.
That can hurt a bit because I think no one likes to be told that they're wrong.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
If someone is like Shannon... I'm looking at my wife. She's sitting over there. You can't see her. She's very pretty. Anyway, if she had to say to me, I think you're wrong, I'd be like, is it?
Yeah.
I'll tell you who's wrong, but I am actually wrong.
I get extremely defensive.
Exactly.
Even though everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Yeah. I feel like my opinion is on top and I'm like, I will prove that you are wrong, even though that's not fair.
Hence our conversations.
Yes.
Okay, I see how you've landed the plane here a little bit.
Yes.
Very nice. Full circle.
Yes.
But you mentioned something now like, if you get a job and you get a salary and then your friend's like, oh, hey, well, I also got a job and this is my salary. One of the things that makes me think about that is not celebrating each other enough.
Yeah.
And do you feel like the world is moving a little bit more in a direction where it is narcissistic and it is very me focused? Like, oh, you got to increase. Good for you, bro. But like, I'm so focused in my lane, that whole mentality, which in and of itself isn't necessarily bad because you do need to have a bit of a direction of what you want to do and how you want to achieve and the things that you want to improve on, which to a degree is good. However, if someone's coming up to you and saying, hey, bro, I just got this job and it's like they are working in admin at a whatever, celebrate them. Even if you think it's the dumbest thing ever.
Yes, I think that's friendship where now people are turning it more into competitions. Like it's like you're not supporting your friends, you're just trying to one-up them. You're just trying to be better than them. And I think that's how most friendships are. Is like you want to be with the best person ever because you want to look like them, you want to dress like them.
Do you feel like it's almost like a status symbol?
Yes.
Like, oh, that's my friend.
Yes, like it's trendy. Like, look at my friend. And it's like,
There's a thing I read the other day where it said the people that rejected you will one day tell others how they know you or how they met you. And for me, I thought, wow, that's very interesting actually. And I said this to Shannon, funny enough, today because this whole content thing that I'm kind of trying to figure out and like having fun in the process, I don't do it with any other goal or motive other than just to have fun and I guess just to make an impact and add value to the people that want to be found in my circle. But one of the things I said to Shannon is I said, it's so funny how the more and more influence and reach I'm getting, the more and more people are just randomly like, hey, how are you? Oh, and you can just see straight through them. I'm like, I know you're only talking to me because I'm now working with these people or I know these people. Yes. And it's like, where were you like 5 years ago?
Exactly. And then if you flip that around, there's the people that despise you for how far up you've grown on the ladder.
Yeah.
There was actually a Bible verse that I read. We're going to have to go back to it.
Are we going scripture? Let's go, Amber.
Yes. I'm not too sure.
Don't worry about the reference.
Yeah, okay. We'll get to that. It was... if they hated you, don't worry, they hated me first.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. If the world hates you, if the world hates you, take heart, they hated me first.
Yes, which I found was so impactful. And it's actually true. Like, it's like they hated Jesus first. And then when you're getting all of this backlash, it's like...
It's like, just chill.
Yes, it's like I said, life's not that deep, not that serious.
What do you feel like, and maybe to kind of land the plane... what do you feel like is one of the key moments in not taking life seriously? When I say key moments, I mean maybe disciplines, maybe habits, maybe thought patterns. But what do you think are key things to... When I say not taking life seriously, I don't mean just, oh, whatever, let's just go with the flow. Like, obviously, you need to have a little bit of a bullseye on the dartboard.
You still have your path.
100%. But... like, what do you feel like is one of the key ingredients to taking life wholeheartedly, but not seriously?
I think there's a tendency where if someone comments on your appearance or on one of your mannerisms, you get very offended by that. But when you use life's not that deep, it's like you shouldn't actually care what these people are saying to you. Like now, when people comment on how I look, it's like, okay.
Do you feel like you would be more inclined to listen to the people closest to you when they give you that let's say constructive feedback? Like let's say, for example, your posture's wrong and someone comes at you and says, oh, you look like you're slouching.
Yeah, Hunchback of Notre Dame. You're like, what?
You're like, oh, okay.
Yes.
Like if Shannon had to say to me, hey, Canton, ABC, I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. Get out of my face. No, I would never say this. But I'd be like, okay, cool. Where if some random person came up to me and said something, I'd be like, cool, man.
Yeah.
Very, very
but
cool.
Rude, but don't care.
Exactly. And I guess, in your context, you're 19 now. Next year you're 20. There's a lot you're still going to learn. There's a lot that you're still going to experience. And then I think more importantly, there's a lot that you're still going to dream.
Yeah.
And why do you feel like, and again, when we have this conversation in 10 years from now, you're going to have a reference point. But why do you feel like it is so important to dream? Because the beautiful thing is it's free.
Yes. I think when you dream, you create something that you truly want and you can work towards. Like if you're not dreaming, then what do you actually want in life? Like for me, like I dream that I'm over the BMW now. So I moved on to...
a Kia Picanto.
Oh, I love my Kia Picanto. I don't think I'll ever sell her. I think she'll always be...
She's got a special place in your heart.
Yes. But I do think I really like... the Porsche 911.
Oh, yeah? So we've gone straight from BM.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Dream.
Yes, exactly.
It's free.
So when I'm at work and I'm doing this, a quote or something or presentation that clients is asking for, I have this Porsche in the back of my mind.
Sure.
And that's good because it drives you. Because now as I'm working, I'm like, let me finish this quote. And if I get lazy, it's like, not going to do it. It's like, bye Porsche. But it's like, okay, let me do it. Then it's like, I'm working step by step towards what I'm dreaming.
That's really good.
If that makes sense.
No, it 100% makes sense. And I think it's the fuel in the engine that not a whole lot of people realize.
Yeah.
That it's okay to be a little bit unrealistic with your dreams. Not that a Porsche is unrealistic. I'm not trying to say you're not going to have it. You work hard, you put in the work, life is still life. Anything can happen, but why not?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think let me explain it this way. I have someone who's a client of mine, but also a very good friend of mine now. And, we do a lot of close work together. And they are very, very big in the South African scene. Like, very big. Everyone knows who this guy is.
Yeah.
And he recently landed a partnership with a vehicle brand. And I remember speaking to him. It's just him and I. We're the only ones in the car.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I actually said it to him today. I was with him today. And I said to him, bro, if there was any car that you would need to be seen in, it's this one.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and he just had like this smile and he kind of shook his head and he was like, never in my wildest dreams would I ever think that this brand would reach out to me and say, we want you to represent us on the streets of South Africa. And what's so cool, if you had that conversation with him 10 years ago and you said, oh yeah, 10 years from now, this is going to happen, I can almost guarantee you he'll look at you and go,
you're
that's
crazy.
Never. So I'm not going to be that person that's like, Amber, come on, Porsche, calm down. What if you have two Porsches?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Dreaming is probably one of the biggest untapped energy drinks.
You lost your...
I'm trying to find a word that'll make sense.
Thoughts.
But it's like, dreaming is one of the biggest energy drinks to keep you going. It's the biggest, it's the fuel to the tank when things are hard and things are confusing and things don't make sense.
Yeah.
But you can still wake up and go, you know what? Let's get this bread.
Yes. Let's work towards what we've been dreaming of for so long.
Exactly.
Yeah. It gives you so much motivation to do what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Porsche, if you're watching this, there's a young girl who needs a 911.
And I do have a driver's license.
In white with maybe like a pink strip.
I'm actually going for like a baby pink vibe.
Ooh.
And then I want the interior to be like a dark browny beige. But no, light brown. Yeah.
Okay.
I think
and then what,
brown.
like neon lights underneath?
No, I don't think. I think I'm going for more of a classy look.
Yeah. I get
Even
you.
the Porsche Cayenne is very nice, but that's a lot more expensive than the 911. So,
well, Dream.
Yeah, maybe both. Put them on the list.
Dream. It's free.
Yeah.
Always remember that. Well, I'm proud of you. Thank you for being who you are.
You.
Never change for anyone but yourself.
Yeah.
Because there is so much gold in you that I don't even think you realize.
Yeah.
But it's going to take a few trusted, loved ones to dig it out of you. And sometimes that digging is not always going to feel great in the moment. But man, oh man, is it going to produce good results.
Yeah.
So,
no, I agree.
Amber, love you.
Canton.
Thank you for being
having
such
me.
a gem.
Thank you. I really appreciate being here.
Right. Can you please do the dishes now?
No.
Really appreciate
There's no way. I just did my nails. There's no way.
Thanks for joining me, and hopefully we'll do this again soon.
Yes, 10 years. We'll come back to it.
Tune
we'll come
in
back
for
to
that.
it. Cool.
Thanks, man.